If you ask me, the best way to not get involved in domestic relationships is not to deal with people who portray those type of behaviors. And I talk a lot about that a lot on my channel as far as how to recognize those red and yellow flags. But I think a lot of people understand those things and they just ignore it and think that these principles won't apply to them. When I have this hashtag on my channel, and it's hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Thug is not a skin color, it is an action. So hopefully everybody understands that. Before we get into the details, and I'll tell you guys about what happened to this mother and her children, let me give you guys a fair warning about my content on my channel. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And let me say thank you to CBSNews.com for this article. So thank you very much. And I hope you guys keep an open mind. So Baltimore, y'all are taking yet another L. We got a lot of stories coming out of that city. A Baltimore County mother is sharing what happened during a disturbing domestic violence incident on Christmas Eve. So this really wasn't that long ago, when she was shot along with her two young children. Her 4-year-old son later passed away, which is the young man that you guys see right here. His name is Jacobi. Handsome young man, awesome smile. This young man deserved every opportunity to grow up and become something great. Her children's father, by the name of Mark Jones, who? Mark Jones. Let me get his face up on the screen so you guys can see it. And thank you for those who are supporting the channel. Thank you guys so much. I feel my phone vibrating. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Please hit that thumbs up as well. Thank y'all. I'm going to shout y'all out here in just a second. Her child's father is 30 years old. And again, I want y'all to remember, I have a philosophy that men shouldn't be fathers under the age of 30 years old. I just don't think that they're ready, and I don't think that they're responsible. And on top of that, if a person has a checkered history, or you like these thugs and gangsters and men who are just not living a reputable lifestyle, a conducive lifestyle to being a law-abiding citizen, maybe this is not who you should have around your kids or make a father. I just think it's a bad idea. And that's what we call hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. He is charged with murder and attempted murder. His court hearing Monday was postponed because he remains hospitalized after he shot himself. Now, whether he intended to end his own life is beyond me. Y'all say he looks like a low-budget Urkel. I would have to agree. Y'all say the Black Pee Wee Herman. Throw them names out there, whatever you want to call them. It's quite all right because he ended up ending the life of innocent children. Okay? We don't have no sympathy for people like that. The mother's name is Promise Marcel, and how she spelled her name, God only knows why her mother or parents gave her this name and spelled it like this. Promyss. I'm not trying to harp on the mother. That's the biological mother. I just don't like these hella unique names that black people just tend to have, because I think it makes us stand out too much, so we cannot blend into society properly. I think it's just a bad thing. Anyway, Promise Marcel is the mother and recorded a video showing the stitches in her head as she's recovering at the hospital from her injuries. She had an emotional plea for the public. She said, God, thank you for giving me the strength to get on here. Lord, please protect all these babies out here. If you're going through a domestic situation and you feel like you can't leave because that's the only person you've got or whatever, please before your something end up like mine. So I don't know what she said there. Marcel's 4-year-old son, Jacobi Jones, who you guys see right there, handsome young man, was shot in the head and died at Johns Hopkins Hospital. Her 1-year-old daughter was shot in the shoulder. Jacobi loved dinosaurs, Marcel said. This is his dinosaur. I just keep it with me. Marcel says as she held a toy dinosaur from her hospital bed. Just pray for me and keep me in your thoughts. Now, according to charging documents, Marcel was sleeping in her bed with the children at her apartment on Breslin Court in Rosedale on Christmas Eve. And around 6 a.m., Mark Jones, who was sleeping in the children's room, walked into her room and started arguing. Jacobi, Jones's young child, asked him to leave, charging documents say. That's when police wrote in charging documents, Jones retrieved a backpack from the closet and removed a handgun. Jones then began to load the handgun magazine with bullets. Their mother and children were all in the bed. The mother then heard a boom and felt the back of her shirt get wet, and she fell to the floor. She stated Jones shot her and her son and then shot himself. And what precipitated this is still kind of a mystery. Like, it had to have been something. So the fact that she survived, and maybe you can help save someone else and explain to us this whole situation, give us more of a thorough story that would actually kind of help some people understand and maybe avoid situations like this. Or if you guys have some theories, you can post it in the chat. Marcel says she ran from the apartment to get help. The man I was with on and off for 5 years did this to me and my kids. Let me say this about this on and off stuff. Why women think that we have history and we on and off all of that type of stuff. And it's easy to go back to a person that you feel like you're somewhat familiar with. I'm going to tell y'all, ladies, stop doing that. And it's childish, and y'all got to stop doing that. Stop doing that to your kids. Stop doing that to yourself. Make a definitive decision as to what direction you're going to go in. This whole willy-nilly, back and forth, flimsy, not really standing on business, I think is a horrible standard, especially when you're a parent. It's fine if you want to be single and do that to yourself. It is a horrible practice when you have kids. You're talking about raising a young boy who's trying to learn eventually how to be a man. Who is he learning that lesson from? Then you're talking about the daughter. How is this daughter supposed to make solid decisions when she sees her mom being willy-nilly, on and off, on and off, on and off, and you're talking about over the course of 5 years? So if it's on and off, you should know by 6 months whether this is somebody you should be with or not. And if it's not, move on. Stop wasting time and stop making kids by people who are not worthy of being in a permanent relationship with. This is what I try to teach on my channel. And again, I want you guys to remember that this is not a news station. For anybody coming to hear the story, you have come to the wrong place. I am here to use these stories as cautionary tales. Hopefully everybody understands. Everybody understand? Now, Marcel revealed she called police earlier in the day, but they told her there was nothing they could do. She did not elaborate. Charging documents revealed the 911 caller heard Marcel screaming, "Please don't do it," followed by several gunshots. Detectives also interviewed the suspect's mother, who said she missed a call from her son, and when she called him back on FaceTime, he was bleeding from the face and told her, "I couldn't take it anymore." Police found a firearm registered to the suspect at the scene. He may be well enough to appear in court later this week, according to an attorney. Jones' initial lawyer told Helgren on Monday his former client was unable to talk as of 2 days ago. Sorry, get tongue-tied. Marcel stated on an online fundraiser to pay for funeral expenses that has raised more than $30,000. I'm assuming that's a GoFundMe. Let me see if I can find it, because I don't think I found it. Well, partially. So I'll just make it bigger on the screen so you can see that there actually was a GoFundMe. They asked for a goal of $20,000. They raised more than that goal. It is what it is. I get it. I just think that it's smarter for people to have life insurance. How many of you guys have heard me say that before? I think it is smarter for people to have life insurance regardless of who you date, how dangerous it is. It is just a common, normal practice to have life insurance because life will eventually end. I literally just lost a friend of mine this afternoon. just unexpectedly to a crazy thing called carbon monoxide. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that before. It is colorless, it is odorless, and it is deadly. And I lost my friend because of it. And is a guy who I've gotten to know over the past 4 years. He is a father also, and it was just really sad. Now, the reason I bring that up is just to say you don't never know when the day, when the time, when the hour, what year. Have life insurance. Let me try to keep going. Anyway, Marcel wants the public to attend Jacobi's funeral, which has been set for January the 10th at the March Funeral Home in Randallstown. She said, I want everybody to come, even if I don't know you. I just want my son to know how much his mom pushed for him and his mom loved him. That's a very nice statement. Marcel told WJZ investigator Mike Helgren she just wants to make a difference for other women dealing with domestic violence and is thankful that she received so much support from the Baltimore area. So if you or someone you love is a survivor of abuse, there's a helpline at the hotline.org or 800-799-7233. My biggest piece of advice to ladies, because the majority of my channel is watched by women, and I hope that you guys pass this down to your young girls and to your young men. The best way to get out of a domestic violence relationship is not to enter them. Not to give a person a chance, not to see if the grass is going to be greener on the other side. You look up their record, you look up their history, you watch their behavior, and if you see any red or yellow flags, you don't give them an opportunity past that, thinking that they're not going to do it to you. Stop risking your life and your children's lives. Let me give you guys a fair usage before I show you the news videos. Let's go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. If you guys would do me a favor and please click that thumbs up and share this video, that'll help us more than you know. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these situations. Do you feel like I have something wrong about how I direct women when it comes to these domestic violence relationships and things like that? If you have an opinion about that, please let me know before we show these news videos. Leave a comment in the comment section and we can go from there. Here we go. Let's take a look at the news videos. Here we go.
Tonight, we're hearing from a mother who was shot along with her 2 children on Christmas Eve in Rosedale. One of those children, a 4-year-old boy, was killed in what police call a case of domestic violence. WJZ investigator Mike Helgren is live at District Court in Towson with the latest on the children's father, who was charged with murder. Mike.
A very sad story, Nikki. Now, his court hearing was postponed here today because he remains hospitalized. He shot himself in that incident. We did speak to the children's mother today. She allowed us to use a video she posted on social media from the hospital. She wants to prevent domestic violence and anyone else falling victim. A warning to our viewers, many of the details in this report are disturbing.
This is my story.
We've blurred the stitches and promised Marcel's head. She posted this video after she says her children's father shot her and them on Christmas Eve in their apartment in Rosedale, Baltimore County.
If you're going through a domestic situation and you feel like you can't leave because that's the only person you got or whatever, leave before your end up like mine.
Marcel's 1-year-old daughter was shot in the shoulder. Her 4-year-old son, Jacobi, was shot in the head and died at Johns Hopkins. He loved dinosaurs.
This is dinosaur. I just keep it with me.
According to charging documents, Marcel was sleeping in her bedroom with the kids. Their father, 30-year-old Mark Jones Jr., was sleeping in the children's room. Police say around 6 in the morning he came into the room and began arguing. 4-year-old Jacobi asked him to leave. That's when police say Jones retrieved a backpack from the closet and removed a handgun. Jones then began to load the handgun magazine with bullets. Their mother and children were all in the bed. The mother then heard a boom and felt the back of her shirt get wet, and she fell to the floor. She stated Jones then shot her son and then shot himself. She ran from the apartment to get help.
Pray for me, please. And give me your thoughts and donate to my baby, please.
Marcel revealed she called police earlier in the day, but they told her there was nothing they could do. She did not elaborate. Charging documents state the 911 caller heard Marcel screaming, "Please don't do it," followed by several gunshots. Detectives also interviewed the suspect's mother, who says she missed a call from her son, and when she called him back on FaceTime, he was bleeding from the face and told her, "I couldn't take it anymore."
The man I was with on and off 5 years did this to me and my kids.
She's already raised more than $30,000 online and says she wants the public to attend Jacobi's funeral, set for January 10th at the March Funeral Home in Randallstown.
I want everybody to come, even if I don't know you. I just want my son to know how much his mom pushed for him and that his mom loved him.
And Marcel.
Yeah, you can't even imagine, right, Jason, Deb? And tonight, that mother speaking with me after losing her 4-year-old son in a shooting where the bullets also hit her and her 1-year-old daughter. That mother tells me tonight that she just wants everyone to remember her son and keep his name alive.
I was grazed by a bullet in my head.
Thomas Marcel coming to talk with 11 News outside of the hospital this evening with a bandage around her head, just 2 days after she and her 2 children were shot, killing her 4-year-old son.
I lost my son the day before Christmas. My son wasn't able to open any of his presents.
4-year-old Jacobi died at the hospital the morning of Christmas Eve. Her 1-year-old daughter survived the shooting. Baltimore County Police say they found the mother and 2 children shot in their Rosedale apartment off of Rossville Boulevard around 6:30 Tuesday morning.
A 1-year-old daughter, and she was shot. It went through her, but thank God she made it, but my boy didn't make it.
Those bullets, county police say, coming from the father of the children before turning the gun on himself. They say he's currently stable at the hospital.
I lived in good neighborhoods, so my son it would never be a mistake thing, you know what I'm saying? But end up being something from someone, his father, he's someone he loved. Burying my son that's 4 years old.
Let's take a pause right there because I think I'm just as confused as you guys. Look, if there's somebody in Baltimore that knows how to get in touch with that mother, I would love to talk to her. So, Mom, if you're out there listening, I'd love to have a conversation with you when you're feeling better, when you're up to it, at your convenience, totally at your convenience, when you feel like you're, physically ready, emotionally ready. I would love to talk to her, and I want to find out, what exactly does that mean? You called the police, and they said there's nothing they could do about what? About getting him out of your apartment? Was he acting a fool? Or what? Y'all was in bed sleep? Was he still trying to argue? You just ignored him? Something happened when there is no explanation there? Why would you say that you called the police and then make it seem like, to me, it's almost damn near kind of like pointing the blame at the police, saying they could have did something to fix this. Is that not how it sounded to y'all? Because that's how it sounded to me. You're leaving a whole lot on the table when you sit there and say that I called them and they said there's nothing they could do, and then next thing you know, boom, he's shooting and trying to kill everybody, including himself. I don't know what you're insinuating by that. Because to me, it sounds like you're insinuating that the police failed you, when in all actuality, again, I always direct this back to our choice in mate. At the end of the day, they have this thing where they say, what, you make your bed, you lay in it. When you date thugs, you date death. Who came up with that, right? That was us. If you hear anybody use that, tell them they got it from the AFC, and it is spread, and that's where y'all got that from. That has been my message from the very beginning. Now, let's keep going.
I never in my life thought that would ever happen.
But now Promise says she wants everyone to remember her son, Jacobi, as the happy, always smiling 4-year-old little boy he was.
I had an amazing 4-year-old son.
So, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Thank you, Tori, for saying that. I'm thinking that she probably was trying to put him out. That's what I'm thinking. Like she was probably tired of him being a lazy person, not contributing anything to the situation except for dick and babies, which is what most of these damn unfit father fools do, right? Unfit father fools. I like that. Unfit father fools. Y'all got to remember that. Type it in the chat. Unfit father fools is who they are getting pregnant by, right? And you're expecting for these people to be responsible when you get ready for them to be responsible? That's not how that works. Men are either mature or they're not. They're either responsible or they're not. They're either ready to be parents and be in a relationship and be faithful, or they are not. And once you realize that they're not, you shouldn't be dealing with them. Yes? If this man was living off of you and off of your kids with the benefit of those kids that they probably provide hashtag babies for benefits, I don't know if that's this situation, but usually children and single mothers come with Section 8 food stamps and housing, right? And sometimes car vouchers. I'm just assuming. I don't know that's her story. Unfit father fools. I like that. That's a new hashtag. I like that. Unfit father fools. We got to remember that. Y'all got to have me. I'm going to copy and paste that. Unfit father fools. I like that a lot. We're going to add that to the hashtags. It is in there. It is now officially in the books of all the hashtags that AFC has come up with. And I use this in order to try to get people to remember and think. I've had people in my chat that have said, when I was in my crazy relationship, I thought about your words, Jay. And I thought about that. I was like, wow, that's really cool. The fact that my words actually are trying to save people in these situations. And that's all I hope. Even if it saves one life, even if it saves one child, even if it only gets justice for one child, which you guys could actually look to my channel and say that we got justice in the story of Billy Simone Williams in Stockton, California. And they got 15 years to life in prison for the murder of that baby. We got justice in that story. And our channel largely helped in that process, right? And even if it is just that one, because it's not just that one, I am grateful that we are contributing to making a difference. And I hope that more people that live in the Baltimore area, we've done plenty of stories. Maybe she's even heard of my channel before. Y'all have got to start acting on my words rather than just think it's never going to happen to me. Because guess what? You're going to wake up one day and the shit's going to hit the fan.
He loved dinosaurs, Spider-Man and Sonic. Amazing little boy.
It's one of the reasons she met with us outside of the hospital tonight. The other reason, to bring awareness to domestic violence.
I know it's better easier than said, because anybody can say, hey, leave, you know, but you leave when you're ready. But take my story. Now that I was forced to leave, basically, I don't have my son. My baby not here with me no more.
And that mother promised us she did create a GoFundMe to help with the funeral expenses. We have that link over on WBA.
According to police and family members, this is a tragic consequence of domestic violence. The mother of the 4-year-old killed is speaking out to bring awareness to domestic violence and urge victims to leave.
My son lost his life to a gun by the hands of his father.
30-year-old Mark Jones faces 8 charges, including first-degree murder, in the Christmas Eve shooting death of his 4-year-old son, Jacobi. The boy never got to open his Christmas presents.
My son off amazing. My son loved dinosaurs. He can tell you any dinosaur literally in the world. He's just full of energy. He can light up a room. He asked a lot of questions. He was just an amazing little boy.
Baltimore County Police responded to a call for a shooting around 6:35 a.m. in the unit block of Breslin Court in Rosedale. The boy's mom promised Marcel.
Wait a minute. They say there's hold on. I need y'all to hear that part. They say it's a history of domestic violence. Hold on. And then I'm going to address what you said in the chat. That's why the AFC is important. Awareness. Thank you, B2YN. Let's hear that again.
Thomas Marcel says there's a history of domestic violence at the block of Breslin Court in Rosedale. The boy's mom, Promise Marcel, says there's a history. Promise Marcel says there's a history of domestic violence at the. Promise Marcel says there's a history of domestic violence at the. Promise Marcel says there's a history of domestic violence at the.
There's a history of domestic violence. So this is a situation, and thank you for also posting that in the chat. Said even if you do get granted an eviction, it could take up to 60 days to act on it. I want you guys to start thinking about this stuff because it is not a simple, easy, and out process unless somebody just decides to leave on their own. Which, if a person like this who is a freaking bum, what do we call him? An unfit father fool. These men are not going to just leave and go just what, freeze outside? They like, hell no, we ain't gonna go, right? Now let me also address what you said, because I do think this probably ultimately precipitated this. Candy in the chat said he probably snapped on the son because he told him to get out. The little boy told a grown man to get out when he came into the room arguing with the mom yet again. There's a history of this. She said also, your child shouldn't be in the position to feel as if they are your protector. How many times has this baby stood up to his father? Now, how many times have y'all heard me, and thank you for posting that, how many times have y'all heard me speak on stuff like that? And I hate to hear when people call these children heroes. They stood up and protected the mom, put their life in danger in order to protect their parents. That is not how that's supposed to work. And it is a horrible mentality to think that these boys should be risking their young, unimagined lives for parents who have already lived their life and should be protecting their kids in order so their kids can have a legacy and grow up and become something great. We're supposed to protect our children, not the other way around. Why is it that so many of us believe that doing things backwards is the right way of going about doing things? Because it's not. I don't think it's right for our young babies to be trying to put their lives in danger to protect their elders. Love is good, but throwing their life in danger is not good. And I'm pretty sure that probably did have something to do with it. And again, that's not a child's place. It should never be a child's place, and a child should never think that should be their place, which I think that comes from how you are teaching them or the things that they are out here watching. We cannot continue to keep, and that's why I think it's bad when we praise people like this on social media for doing stuff like this. Oh, he was a hero. He loved his mama. And these kids and these young folks see the love that people that these boys are getting for behaving that way, and it encourages more of them to do it. And that is a horrible thing to do. Shouldn't be making them type of decisions unless any younger than 18 years old. Once you become legally grown and can join the army, armed forces, or whatever the case is, you get grown, you get out in life, then you can start making decisions about whose life you're going to protect. As kids should be able to be kids.
I called the police earlier, a few hours before the incident, because I had a bad feeling. They told me basically because his name was on a piece of mail, it's nothing they can do.
Police are investigating the shooting as a domestic-related assault. What started the argument that led to the shooting has not been released. Responding officers located a total of 3 victims. A 1-year-old girl had also been wounded.
She was shot. It went through her, but thank God she made it.
A bullet grazed Marcel on the head and then went into her shoulder. She says she's speaking out to bring attention to domestic violence and encourage victims to leave.
If it happened before, it will happen again. It's not worth it. No, even if you're quote-unquote lonely or you want to make your family, because some people don't grow up with moms and dads, so they want to give their kid what they didn't have, but it's not worth it.
According to police, the suspect sustained a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He's now being held here at the Baltimore County Detention Center without bail. There's a GoFundMe account set up to help with Jacobi's funeral expenses.
I don't think they're going to have any problem reaching their GoFundMe goal. They actually have already exceeded their goals. So nonetheless, just keep the mother in your prayers. And I just hope that these young women, these mothers, these people who are listening, attached to these stories, Don't get mad at me and email me and tell me you didn't like my words. Take the story down, because I'm not going to. Because maybe you don't want to listen. Maybe you don't want to correct your actions. But there might be somebody else that I can use these stories to speak through, that it might be able to help somebody else. And that's always what I'm hoping to be able to do. People like this shouldn't have places to be able to just lay up and make kids and not do anything productive in life. These people need to be just dried out, right? These bad apples need to be dried out. They should not have the ability to continue to keep procreating, making kids, having places to live up, and continue to keep being rewarding bad behavior with sex. That's a horrible thing to do. But when are we going to wake up as a society? I'm going to look at this story and I'm going to look at everybody else and just say, let's change this narrative, okay? So to this young man, young prince, Jacobi, R.I.P. To the little girl, keep the little girl in your prayers because she did survive, and keep the mother in your prayers because she survived as well. And to this fool, I think he needs a life sentence. I don't think you'll be able to get, premeditated murder, but you should be able to get some level of a murder charge. That should get you a life sentence. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. But again, let me say that very loudly. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps us more than you know. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you.